Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing absolutely well. Guys, in this video we will be seeing Cognizant GenC latest interview experience. Basically in this video I have taken the experience of a candidate who has recently appeared for Cognizant GenC interview, and they have shared the actual questions and answer that were asked to them in their interview. So make sure that you prepare well from these questions, because there is very high chances that if you are also going to appear for your Cognizant GenC interview, you will get the exact same questions in your interview also. So without wasting any time, let's get started with today's video. But before that, if you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as it really will be helpful for you, so that whenever I post any upcoming videos, you will get a notification. And guys, I have already shared a lot of other interview experiences for GenC. Make sure to check that too. You can see GenC Next 10 Pro, GenC latest interview experience, tech plus HR. Make sure to check all those videos, as it will be very helpful for you. Guys, I just want one thing from you. If you're finding it helpful, please write the review helpful, so that I get to know how many of you are preparing for it and I can post more interview experiences for you. So let's get started with first question. Let's look at this question that we have. The question is starting basically with, initially the behavioral questions were asked. Behavioral, you can say, related to HR round questions. Okay. So whenever you enter your interview, the first question that you will be asked will be, tell me about yourself. So we have taken a basic answer. Okay, just in case if you don't have a template ready with you, you can also say this one, but I would highly suggest you to prepare one good introduction for yourself. Okay, let's see the answer that we have here. Hello, my name is, and then you have to tell your name. I recently graduated with a degree in, so whatever branch you have, or like whatever branch you have completed your bachelor's or something, you have to tell that. And have a strong foundation in programming, data structures and web development. I have worked on projects using technologies like ReactJS, Node.js and SQL. Apart from technical skills, I enjoy problem solving and collaborating in team environments. I'm eager to join Cognizant because of its strong focus on innovation and career growth. So guys, whenever you prepare your introduction, there are few things that you should always note down. First, you have to speak about your educational details, skill set. If possible, you have to speak about your project. Okay, so these are some mandatory thing. Okay, because with this you are setting the tone of your interview going ahead, because whatever the skill sets and things that you mention during your introduction, based on that only you will be getting your questions ahead. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Why do you want to join Cognizant? So for this, the answer can be, Cognizant is a well-established IT company with a strong presence in digital transformation and cloud solutions. The company offers excellent learning opportunities and exposure to diverse technologies. I am excited about the chance to contribute to the real-world projects while growing professionally in a dynamic environment. So in this way, what you can do is, you can even do the basic research about the company, and you can see what companies majorly dealing with these days. Like you can say about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, because these are some of the trending technologies and trending focuses of all the major MNCs. So in this way you can prepare your answers. Moving on, how do you handle deadlines? Okay, let's see how can we answer this question. I prioritize tasks based on urgency and complexity. I break down projects into smaller milestones and set realistic deadlines. If challenges arise, I communicate effectively with my team and adapt my approach to meet deadlines without compromising the quality of work. So in this way, you have to politely answer the questions, whatever that is being asked to you. Moving on to the next one. The question is, what are the qualities of a good leader? So now, that's why I told you these are like behavioral questions. So you have to be ready with it. Okay. And if you think that I can answer on the go, it is very unlikely. You will stammer a lot. That is why it is very important to prepare beforehand, before your interviews. Let's see the answer for this question. A good leader should be communicative, adaptable and problem solver. They should support their team, make informed decisions and motivate members to achieve common goals. Leadership is not just about authority, but also about collaboration and mentorship. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Now we are moving to the next set of questions which are based on object-oriented programming, or OOPS. And I have already spoken a lot in my previous videos that OOPS is one of the major topics when it comes to interviews. Like it is kind of guaranteed only that you will get few questions from OOPS. So if you have no time to prepare, I would highly suggest you that prepare OOPS. Okay, because that is the most important topic that you should prepare, because you will get definite questions from that. Let's see the question that is asked now. What is a constructor? So let's see the answer for this one. A constructor is a special method in a class that gets called automatically when an object is created. It is used to initialize the class properties. For example, in Java, how a constructor is created, I have taken a basic example, but chances are very less that they will ask you an example to give an example of a constructor. If you want from your end, you can give an example, but this is how you can answer. Okay, moving on. What is garbage collection? Okay, let's see the answer for this question. Now, you know, guys, there can be different things. Like, for example, if you are giving your interview and if you are giving your interview on a cluster basis, so they can ask you the question, like same question can be asked in different ways. What is garbage collection in Java? What is garbage collection in C++? So you have to understand that the concept of garbage collection always remains same. So if they ask you what is garbage collection in Java, so you have to start your answer in this way, that in Java garbage collection is. Okay, so you have to understand that. Don't just get panic just by listening to the language. Okay, you have to focus on the concept of the question. Okay, let's see the answer for this question. Garbage collection is the process of automatically deallocating memory that is no longer in use. In Java, Java Virtual Machine or JVM handles the garbage collection using algorithms like mark and sweep to free up the memory. So basically the main important thing is, what is garbage collection? So garbage collection is nothing but the process of automatically deallocating the memory once it is no longer in use. Okay, because if you keep on filling up the memory, it will slow the performance of our system. Moving on to the next question. Explain inheritance with example. Again, as I told you, OOPS is one of the major concepts, and all these questions that we are seeing are on OOPS only. Inheritance allows a class to inherit properties and methods from another class. Example, here we have for inheritance. Okay, so we have two classes. First is class animal, which is kind of a parent class, and then what we are printing here is animal makes a sound. Okay, and here is the function which is getting called, that is make sound. Next up, we have created another function, which is not another function but another class, which is dog, and this dog is getting inheriting animal class. Okay, and here we have the function bark, which is printing out dog barks. So this is basic concept of inheritance, where basically it allows that a child class can inherit the properties and methods of its parents class. Moving on. The next question is, what is the order of constructor calls in inheritance? Okay, let's see the answer for this question. In inheritance, the parent class constructor is always called first before the child class constructor. Here we have the example, we have class parent and then we have class child, which extends parent. Okay, and in parent class we have a parent method and then which is printing parent constructor, and in child class we have the statement which is getting invoked by a child method, and the statement is child constructor. So the output will be, initially parent constructor will be printed and then child constructor will be printed. This shows that the parent class constructor is always called first before the child constructor. I hope you have understood it. Guys, if you have any doubts in any of the questions, you can put it in the comment section, and please do let me know your reviews about these questions. How are you feeling them, and if you want any modifications in the videos or not. Let's see the next question that we have. So guys, we have seen now the OOPS based question. Now we are moving on to the SQL based questions that are usually asked. Okay, so the first question that we have here is, write an SQL query to find the nth highest salary. The answer for this is basically simple. Which there is just one query that you have to write. The answer will be, select distinct salary from employees, order by salary in descending order, and we have to limit 1, offset n-1. Okay, so in this way you can find the nth highest salary. Okay, moving on. What is a join in SQL? Okay, so let's see the answer for this question. A join is used to combine data from 2 or more tables based on the related column. Example is inner join between employees and departments. So here we have the query, select employees.name departments.department name from employees table, inner join departments on employees.department id, which is equals to departments.id. Okay, so here we have taken an example also for joins, and we have also spoken about what is join. Moving on, how to create a table with constraints. So here we have taken a query for creating a table with constraints. Let's see. Create table students. Okay, this is the table name. ID int primary key, name varchar not null, and age int check, and then we have mentioned age should be greater than 18. Okay, so in this way you can create a table with constraints by giving the constraints. Moving on. Now some questions on database management system. Let's see that. First one is, what are ACID properties in DBMS? Okay, so you can answer it in this way. Now guys, you have to focus that you do not have to give very lengthy answers, because see, in interview you will be asked many questions, okay, and you won't have much time. If you focus on answering one question in detail, then the interviewer might get short of time and they won't ask much questions, but then they expect you to answer every question in very detail. So you just have to give like 2 to 3 sentences or 20 to 30 seconds of answer for each question, and if they want you to speak more on that, they will let you know. Okay, so let's see what is the answer for this question, which is what are acid properties in DBMS. Acid, basically acid stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. It ensures database transactions are processed reliably. Okay, moving on to the second question, which is why is DBMS better than a file system? The answer for this question will be DBMS provides data integrity, security and better data management compared to traditional file storage system. Basically, these are also called as the features of DBMS, and you should definitely know this, because you can use these features of DBMS in different answers of yours, based on like whatever different questions that you guessed based on DBMS, you can use these features. Okay, so always remember these things, that is data integrity, security and data management. Moving on to the next question now. Now we have seen a lot of questions based on OOPS, DBMS, behavioral sections. Now some questions based on project based questions will also come, and that is for sure you will get. Okay, let's see what are the questions and how can you answer them. First is explain your project. Okay, a very high level question. You have to explain your project. You have to tell them what is the project about and what your contribution is in that project. Let's see the answer for it. I have taken one very basic simple answer, but I will highly suggest you that you prepare your answers according to your project. The answer will be, my project was built using ReactJS and Node.js. It was and then you have to tell your project name that helps user, what is the functionality that is implemented in that project and what is the goal of that project. I implemented features such as whatever your features were there, you can mention that. It was designed with a responsive UI and optimized API calls. Now I'll give you some examples. Now you can say, like, for example, if you have created a website, okay, any website, like, shopping site, so you can say it was a shopping site that helped users for putting their orders online, and it was serving the functionality of e-commerce website. We had implemented API calling and front end I have set it up. And if your project was a team one, then you can tell that the project was created as a part of team, but in my role in that project was so and so. So in this way you can mention. Otherwise, if you have created your project individually, then also you can explain accordingly. I hope now you have understood it. Let's now move on to the next question. Now see, based on what you have told in your introduction and in your project, then you will get further questions. Now see, as the candidate told that they have created the project based on front end and they have used technologies like React. Now they are getting questions based on React. So make sure that you are very attentively answering all the things, because you can get cross questions or you can get your further questions based on the introduction or like a skill set that you mentioned. The question is, what are the key features of ReactJS? So the answer for this can be, now you have to mention different features of ReactJS. The answers can be component based architecture, virtual DOM for performance optimization, unidirectional data flow, and hooks for state management. So these are some of the features of ReactJS. Moving on to the next one, why ReactJS over other frameworks? So now, why, if you have used a particular thing in your project, right, not just with ReactJS, they can ask you this question for different technologies also. So you should know that why you have used this and not something else, right? So you should have answer for these types of questions also. Let's see the answer. ReactJS is preferred because of its component based approach, faster rendering with virtual DOM, and strong community support. Compared to Angular, React is lightweight and easier to learn. And you can also say that with the requirements that I had in hand, React seems much better, and the learning curve with React was also a bit slightly lesser than Angular. So in this way you can prepare your answer according to your case, and then you can say. But the main goal is that I want to tell you that what kinds of questions are being asked, so that you can prepare for those types of questions beforehand, right? Otherwise, when you will sit for the interviews, you might think that, okay, this is a very new question, I don't even have the answer for that. I don't want all of you to be in that situation. Let's see the next question that we have here. What is deep call in JavaScript? So the answer for this will be, a deep call refers to a function calling another function multiple layers deep, often seen in recursion or nested function calls. A deep, basically it is just a fancy jargon that we have here. Deep call, it is nothing, it is just like a recursion based approach, or like, a function calling another function within multiple layers, right? So moving on to the next question now. Okay, so guys, we have seen a lot of questions now. I have now some few final tips for all the candidates who are going to attempt your Cognizant interview for different roles. I know it can be either GenC, GenC Next, or GenC Pro. Okay, some important tips are, you have to prepare your answers beforehand, and if required you can also use star methodology. I'll tell you what a star methodology is. First, you see, whenever a behavioral question is asked, okay, like I'll give you one example. You can get this question that if there is a conflict in your team, how will you manage it? So you have to answer these types of question with like, not have to, but you can, okay. I'm just giving you a suggestion. You don't have to always follow star method in like in this interview. At least see, what you can do is you can create a situation, okay, like this was the situation, a real time kind of situation. Now that does not mean that it has to happen in real time. It can be a made up story, but you are telling it as as like it was happened in real time, okay. So you have to basically tell a situation that this and this happened, and what was the task that I need to achieve, what was the action that I took in order to achieve that task, and then what was the result I got. Okay, so in this way, in a story based approach, you have to tell your answers, behavioral answers basically. So that is what for that you can use star methods, okay. Otherwise, whatever answers we have discussed, that were also good. Next up, some important topics that you should revise and practice before your GenC interviews is, you should practice OOPS, okay. I have already posted a video, make sure to check that if you haven't checked it yet on my channel. Make sure to prepare SQL well, and also practice basic queries based questions also. As you can see, I have already created a lot of interview experiences. You will find all the queries questions that are generally being asked. Next up, you should practice basic DBMS also, because DBMS questions are also being asked. Basically, whatever you have studied in your graduation, those things at least you should know. Be confident while explaining your project, and not just explaining your project, but during your entire interview you have to be confident and keep a smiling face, because see, sometimes their focus is not that much on your technical answers. They are also seeing your body language, how much confident you are, because you see, if you're confident, then you can consider that your 60% work is done, okay. They will mostly select you if you are confident, and if you are answering properly, and if your communication is good, you are not stammering a lot. And that is only the reason for these types of things. To improve those things, you have to practice a lot before attempting your interviews, okay. And also, if possible, please practice your cluster, okay, because there might be cases that, see, you are very proficient in Java and C++, but you have got cluster number 3, which was C#. So you cannot totally ignore cluster 3, okay, because they can ask you questions based on cluster 3 also in your interview. So in this way, like, you have to practice basic questions about your cluster also. That should be also done. Otherwise, you might not be able to answer when they ask you cluster based questions. So yeah, these were some of the important tips from my end. Now next question is about your explain your project in detail. And guys, these questions which I'm telling you from this interview experience, you can consider that these are short questions, okay. You will also definitely get these questions. So at least if you can't prepare much, then at least prepare the answers for these questions and be ready for this one, okay. Let's see the answer for this project detail one. First thing, you have to briefly describe about your project, what it is about. You have to mention the technologies that you have used in your project, like Java, Python, React, SQL, whatever it can be. Explain the key features and functionalities of your project, what it is delivering, okay, because every project that you create delivers some value, right? So what it is delivering, that you have to discuss. Then discuss any challenges that you have faced while creating this project, and how you have solved it. Now, there can be two cases. You might have created a project as a part of a team, or you might have created a project individually. So you have to prepare your answers accordingly, okay. Now, one of the examples, like, answers is, I worked on a project which is then you have to tell your short description about it. Like, for example, an e-commerce website or machine learning model, anything you can mention. I used a tech stack like Java, Python, whatever, to develop this project. One challenge I faced while creating this project was, then you have to mention your challenge, and then I solved it by using whatever solution that you have. Now guys, you have to keep a note of one thing. I have also noticed a lot in many cases, because if for those of you who don't know me, like, I have myself taken so many interviews in, like, in the corporate, in my corporate job. So I have seen that most of the freshers, what mistake they do is they dig in very detail, okay, for some answers. For example, if they are saying that how they have faced a challenge, they don't think that how much they are speaking. You should understand that your answer should not exceed 30 to 40 seconds, okay. You have to understand this thing. This is very important, because sometimes you get so much in the flow that you keep on speaking, and then you are short of time later. And interviewer can't, sometimes some interviewers are like so that they will interrupt in between, and they will say, okay, let's move on to the next question. But not all the interviewers are like so, okay. And usually when an interviewer is sitting for an interview, he has like 10 to 15 questions fixed, written or ready, mostly, okay, that they have to cover it in this interview. And then if you are taking more time, then that time in which they have to ask other question is going into this thing. Now they have to analyze you based on the answers or discussion which is going on. Okay, so you can understand, right? If they are asking more questions, then you also have a good chance that you can answer more questions and you can show a good, like, impression on them. Okay, enough of the details. Now let's move on to the next question quickly. I don't want the video should go long. Next is, what are the types of SQL languages? Okay, this is one of the most asked questions. Okay, you should definitely prepare this answer. See, SQL is divided into 5 categories: DDL, DML, DQL, DCL and TCL. Let's understand the full form of all. Now these can be individual questions in itself. Okay, like what is the full form of DQL, what is DML? So you should have basic understanding of everything. I can't cover entire syllabus here, but I'm covering the most important questions that are asked. But based on that, you have to do some extra homework also. You have to go on the internet and have to search for few things, and you have to prepare by yourself. See, what is DDL? DDL stands for data definition language. And what are the different kinds of commands that comes under it? Create, alter, drop. Then comes your data manipulation language, which is DML, in which it comes insert, update and delete. These are all manipulation languages, which means data is already there, but you need to change it or manipulate it or update it, whatever you can say. Then we have DQL, which is data query language. Okay, in that we have select. Basic query means what? Query means to retrieve data out of something. Okay, so that is why for that we use select query, right? Next up we have DCL, which is data control language. For that we have grant and revoke. And then TCL, which is transaction control language. This is very rarely the questions comes on this, but yeah, just to give you knowledge, I have included that. Commit, rollback and save point are the commands which comes under this. Moving on to the next question now. Guys, before we dig deep into this video, I just want one thing from you guys. If you're finding it helpful, please write the word helpful in the comment box so that I get to know that how many of you are preparing from this interview experience, and if they are relevant and more comments, I will post more questions related to this. Okay, let us see this question. What is the difference between union and union all? Okay, let's see the answer of this question. First of all, union, it basically combines results from 2 queries but removes the duplicates. Then union all, what it does, it combines the results without removing the duplicates. Now we have the 2 example queries. First one is here, that is select name from employees 1 union select name from employees 2. Okay, this what it will do is this will remove the duplicates. And then we have the other case where union all we are using, that is select name from employees 1 union all and then select name from employees 2. So what this will do is this will keep your duplicates. So guys, if you have understand this thing about duplicate now, then you will never forget what is the major difference between union and union all. Okay, just understand this, that union removes duplicates, union all means it will keep everything. If there are any duplicate things also, it will keep them, okay, from the 2 tables. Moving on to the next question now. What is the difference between a primary key and a unique key? Okay, let's see the answer for this one now. Primary keys, basically it ensures unique values and cannot be null. Unique key, it ensures unique values but can have null values also. A table can have only one primary key, but multiple unique keys are possible in a table. The primary keys creates a clustered index, where unique key creates non-clustered index. And I have taken an example here, that is create table employees, and here we have employee ID, which is a type of integer, and this is the primary key that is acting here. Then we have name, employee name, which is a varchar, and then we have email, which is varchar, and which is a unique, okay, unique key we can say. So I hope you have understood what is a primary key, what is a unique key, and what is the major difference between both. Moving on to the next question. What are grant and revoke commands in SQL? Okay, let's see the answer for these questions. First is grant. Basically, grant is used to give permissions to a user, and then revoke is used to take back the permissions from a user. Okay, so you can see the example here. Example queries are also taken. So see, grant select on employees to user, and then revoke insert on employees from user 1. Okay, I hope you have understood it. If you have not understood it, and guys, the main aim of this video is not to give you answers but to give you questions. These answers are just for extra knowledge only. You should not consider this only as a source of information. What you should do is, your main goal should be, you should be reading or like focus on the questions, and then if you feel that this content you are not understanding, then it is your duty to go over the internet and read about these questions or topics in detail. Then only you can understand it. Okay, because see, just by like reading 2 or 3 lines will not give you an idea of the entire concept, right? So it is your duty that you have to go to the internet for some questions and you have to search it and prepare it well. My part here is to give you the most asked questions and the most important ones, so that when it comes in your interview, you will also think, yeah, we have already studied these questions and this is nothing new for us, right? At least some basic content you will have to answer. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is, what is an index in SQL? What are its types? Okay, so index in SQL. Okay, let's see. Indexes improve query performance by speeding up your data retrieval. There are different types of indexes. Now let's see the types of indexes. There is something called as clustered index. Now what it is basically sorts and stores your data in the physical order. Next up we have is non-clustered index. It stores pointer to the actual data. Next up we have is unique index. It ensures all values in a column are unique. And then we have composite index, which is the index on multiple columns. So we have the example here is create index name on employees and employee name. Okay, employees is the table name and employees name is the column name. Moving on, what are triggers in SQL? So the answer is a trigger is an SQL procedure that runs automatically when certain events occur, and we have the options as insert, update and delete. Second is it is used for maintaining logs, enforcing business rules, etc. Here we have one query where trigger is basically getting used. The query is create trigger after insert on employees. For each row, insert into logs and action values new employee added. Okay, let's move on now quickly to the next question. What are the different types of joins in SQL? Let's see the different types of join. And guys, this is again the most asked questions, or like you can say this is kind of short question in your GenC interview, because whatever interview experiences that I have got from previous candidates, it is like I can say there is zero interview experience in which this question was not asked. Okay, whoever has shared and their interview experiences after interview, like GenC interviews with me, be it on campus, off campus, whatever, they have definitely got this question. So you should also prepare this question. Okay, and guys, I just want to let you also know that if you are also going to like appear for your interview, please, if it's a humble request, if possible, try to share the questions that were asked to you in your interview, because that way all the candidates who are going to like appear for this GenC drive in the upcoming months, they will get helpful, like they will get benefited, right? How you are getting benefited now from the interview experience of previous candidates, in the same way they will also get benefited from the interview experiences of you guys. Let's see the answer for this question. Inner join, basically it returns matching records from both the tables. Left join returns all the records from the left table and matching ones from the right table. You have to understand all from left and matching from right. Right join, it is the other way around of left join, which is it returns all records from right and matching ones from the left. Outer join, it returns all the records when there is a match in one of the tables. And self join is joins a table with itself. Here we have an example. Let's see the example query. Select e1.name e2.manager name from employees e1. Inner join manager e2 on e1.manager id and e2.manager id. Let's see the next question now. Now we have a question, implement a cursor in SQL. This is not a very commonly asked question, I would say, but this was asked to one of the candidates, so that is why I have taken this. And you should also know it, because just in case, just in case if you are not aware of, if you are not having any idea, saying direct no does not gives a very good impression, right? So yeah, let's see the answer for this question. How can you implement a cursor in SQL? So basically cursors are used to process rows individually in a result set, and here is the query that I have taken to implement the cursor. Let's read it once, but I would highly suggest you please pause the video at this point and give it some time to understand it. If you have any doubts, please go over the internet, try to search about it, and then read it, have some basic data about it. Okay, let's see the query. Declare cursor name, cursor for, select employees name from employees, open cursor name, fetch next from cursor name, close cursor name and deallocate cursor name. Okay, you can see basically something is happening here. First of all, declaration is happening, then select, then opening it, then fetching data, then closing it, and then deallocating it. Okay, so if you will understand it this way, understanding it will be very easy. It is a 6-step procedure, I think. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, some behavioral questions, or you can say HR questions that you will definitely get, and you have to be very confident while answering these questions. You have to try to stammer as little as possible and always keep a smiling face when answering HR questions specifically. Okay, let's see the answer for this question. Why do you want to join Cognizant? Basically, the answer can be Cognizant is a globally recognized IT company known for its innovation and employee-friendly work culture. I admire how Cognizant focuses on a digital transformation and cutting-edge technologies. The company offers great learning opportunities, structured career growth, and exposure to diverse projects. I have been working at Cognizant. I believe working at Cognizant will help me develop both technically and professionally, and I am eager to contribute to the impactful projects. Now, guys, you might feel that this is sounding too bookish, right? So see, my aim is to give you some content. Okay, now it is on you. You have to don't do this mistake that you just copy paste this and learn it and say the same exact word. That would sound so wrong. Okay, what you have to do is you have to remember this data, and based on this data you have to speak in your own words. Okay, always try to be natural in your interviews. Okay, be natural, because you might feel that the interviewer is not getting anything, that even though we are already saying a ready-made answer, but trust me, like 100% of the interviewers get to know whatever answer you are speaking is in your own words, or if you are just by hearting it and saying it. Okay, so and most of the interviewers prefer natural language over mugged up answer. Okay, that is what I'm saying. This data is for you to get the basic data, and based on this you have to prepare your own answers, and so that you have some content while answering. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Most asked questions again. The answer is, in 5 years, I see myself as a skilled software engineer with expertise in full stack development and cloud technologies. I am aiming to take leadership roles, mentor juniors, and contribute to minor projects. My goal is continuously upskill, obtain relevant certifications, and work on innovative solutions that add value to the organization. Cognizant provides the right environment for the professional growth, and I look forward to advancing my career here. See, now you might have seen there are like almost 7 to 8 different points that are covered in this answer. Okay, now that is why my aim is to give you as much as points as possible, so that out of 8 points at least you will remember 2 or 3, right? So it will be good, right? You don't have to say all the 8 points. Okay, when I am preparing the answers, I am preparing in such a way so that you will at least remember 25% of this answer, right? So that you have some content. So see, if you remember these 3-4 points also, like for example, skilled software engineer, okay, with expertise in basic some technologies, and then leadership roles where you will mentor juniors. So see, these 4 points are also enough to give you like 30-second or to create a 30-second answer, right? So I hope you are understanding how you have to prepare your answers and give your answer. Okay, so guys, we have covered almost everything in this video. If there is anything left, please let me know in the comment section, and you can ask your queries, whatever it is about GenC. Please let me know in the comment section. I will answer all of your queries. You can join me on Telegram and follow me on Instagram as well. You can ask your customized queries over Instagram DM also, just in case in the comment section, if your comment is missed by me, then you can ask your queries over Instagram DM also. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, because that is most important, because a lot of more helpful content is going to come for all of you. Even if you join corporate also, after that also some of the helpful content will be there on this channel for all of you. So guys, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you next time.